So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the big shift that we see in the search marketing, we call it. So like again, how your business shows up online when people are looking for you. And everybody knows that a lot of research happens before people phone you, email you, or come to your door. And so if you don't show up online, it's just very sad because it's like you don't exist. So we want to focus on that today and see what has changed. We want to see what AI optimization actually is and why it matters for your business. Google versus AI. Google is the big provider right now of search, of course. They have a monopoly, you could say. But that's changing rapidly. Like we have some really interesting stats that we can show you that Google is still pretty pretty important, but they are going to lose some of their traffic to AI. So we want to talk about how that affects your business. So how urgent is this? Well, I think it is something that every business should be paying attention to. This AI thing is not going away, so we need to be prepared for that. So, and then finally, we have five actions that you can take, five things that we do actually for our clients that we just give to you for free today, actionable items that you can implement in your own business. So before I get going on the actual slides here, I forgot one thing. I forgot to introduce our the Edge team members. So on the call today, we have Caitlin, and she'll be the moderator. Katie is our content strategist here at Edge. So she'll have some input in this as well because this affects her workflow and the work she does for our clients. And then more importantly, or equally as important, I should say, we have our very own Hatham on the call as well. And Hatham is our SEO specialist here at Edge, so he'll be talking to some of the more technical things. So welcome, Hatham.
Thanks.
And my job, I guess, is to kind of make sure that we don't go too technical. So I've warned Hatham, as soon as you start using the terminology that people may not be familiar with, then I'll intervene, I guess, and ask some questions about that. So, but welcome, Hatham. Look forward to you're going to do most of the talking, so look forward to that. So yeah, let's get into it. So the big shift that I mentioned earlier is, how your customers find your business online is changing, and we all know it. Like I think Google has still something like 80 or 90% of that search market, but it is changing. So with the arrival of ChatGPT and other platforms, people are more comfortable now talking to an AI bot to find information that they are looking for. So that includes the products and services that you provide. So the biggest challenge is to, like when people are using anything else but Google, like we've become very familiar with Google, how they operate and how we can show up in Google. We do a lot of work over the last 10 years that's really evolved around Google. But now we have to also look at the AI search. So AI is being used to find answers, to compare options, and honestly make decisions. And if from my own personal experience with AI is so different than just Google search. Google search will just give you links to websites that you should visit, and then you can find the information there for yourself. AI, of course, takes it one step further and actually, does that research for you and comes back with recommendations that without even having to go to a website. And that's kind of one of the challenges that we run into is that people may not actually land on your website before they actually make a decision or find out more about you. So if your business isn't showing up on AI, then you're invisible, like I said earlier, and that's of course a problem for businesses. So yeah, we have some solutions for you to make that better. So now this all sounds very urgent, and maybe we don't want people to panic about this. I mean, it's just panic is never a good emotion. It's definitely like it kind of clouds our judgment. I do believe there's a fair bit of hype when it comes to AI, right? Like all the things it can do. There's still a lot of things that AI cannot do. So being all worried about it and panicking about it is probably not the right reaction. But it's understandable. A lot of our clients come to us and they have questions about it and they feel uncomfortable not knowing. So the fact that what we're doing here is just an education of, okay, like these are the facts, this is what's happening, and these are some strategies that you can consider to stay relevant and to keep showing up and people looking for your business. Um, with that, I'm gonna hand it over now to you, Haytham, because you work in this area on a daily basis, and yeah, like lead us through some of the differences between SEO and so SEO, search engine optimization. Again, that's an acronym that's you know, lingo that may not be familiar with everybody, but it's basically, showing up online is basically what that all means, right? Like if people searching for information, then they find you online. So, Haytham, how does that differ with the AI optimization?
Yeah, so thanks, Peter, first for having me, and thank you guys for joining this webinar. So obviously, SEO is, or what we call in simple terms, search engine optimization is a technical practice that businesses are now using nowadays to have a digital presence and be as accessible as possible to consumers or potential customers that are looking for a specific service online. And search engine optimization is, or what was previously in a very traditional way, was trying to target what keywords the consumers are looking for online, and then make sure that your website is accustomed to those keywords so that you show up. Now AIO would come in now with all the updates and everything that we are seeing right now. It is kind of revolutionary, I would say, and at the same time, we should not really panic as long we're being transparent to Google and being as easy to understand by the bots, which are responsible for making you show up for those customers as possible. So AIO is a little bit different because right now we're no longer trying to make Google understand that we are relevant, but we're also trying to talk to bots, which becomes a little bit more technical and I guess tricky as well. So customers search differently, obviously, because even though we want to identify whatever service those customers are trying to search for on Google, sometimes they make typos. Sometimes they try to look for very short keywords and short services. Sometimes they add a location where they're situated. Let's say, for example, if we're looking for a plumber in Red Deer, and those users are trying to get as soon as possible kind of service, then they're probably not going to look for what you think they are going to look for. And then your responsibility as a business owner or as somebody who's trying to capture value online is to make sure that you are at the top three, which is the traditional SEO, or at least show up in the AI overview, which is something that is recently has been introduced. And so basically, when you come up with a query on Google and then hit on enter, then there is a little AI summary that shows up at the top, which is generated, and that comes up with all the options that Google thinks are relevant to you as somebody who's looking for that specific service.
Yeah, so in essence, I hate them. So Google, if you go do a Google search, and I think most people on the call have probably have experienced this, like this little piece. It used to be just the top results would show up on the very top, right? But now we have this AI search feature that Google introduced, of course, knowing what is going on in the market and people actually going to use it anyway. So I think it's Google's attempt to give you two options, correct, Haytham? Like
Yeah, that is.
you can so
Yep.
now and of course Google is a little threatened by all of this. So they've made a move to actually say instead of saying, well, this is not, we're not gonna keep doing the things that we've always done, they've actually introduced that AI overview now. So I find that helpful. I actually use it quite a bit, but I also, and I know you're going to talk about this later, is that if I'm really looking again for the plumber because my toilet is leaking, I don't
Mhm.
necessarily need to know all the information about the plumbing business. I just simply want to find somebody. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we just want to find somebody, and then when we find the couple of options that AI comes up with, that's when we go into reviews and then see how reputable they are and things like that. So the first shortlist, I would say, is not really something that customers are picky about. So you just want to show up there. Um, Yeah. So search stands today at a very transitional way, I would say, because we're 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 working with the older generation, although I do not prefer to use this term, but we're with generation that has been maturing using Google, and we're also dealing with a generation that is trying to adapt to AI. Like we see lots of the youth now, they just go to ChatGPT, for example. They go to what we call now large language models, which are LLMs, and these include your ChatGPT. There is a Google version of ChatGPT, which is what we call Gemini or even Perplexity. So the youth, we see a lot of engagement they're having with these kind of tools. So you need to have a mixture of both in order to target as wider of an audience as possible. I guess that's where search stands today. And obviously, as we can see in the slide here, not all searchers are the same. There are people who are looking for information. There are people who are looking to convert. Obviously, right now, if you're wondering about a specific term or a specific service that you've never heard of before, you would go to Google and ask it the same question. So we go for it as a professor to understand terms, and we go for it as somebody who has all the solution in the world to make sure that we are in the right hands and dealing with the right businesses, I guess. So that's where our pages or our websites needs to be really structured so that we target both. Blogs, for example, play a very big role in being informative for people who are looking for information, and your service pages are playing the big role for people who are trying to convert and who are looking to contact you, basically. Oh, and yeah, as we mentioned here before, Peter, Google is not dead, and I don't think it will ever be dead anytime soon, at least. There's lots of rumors saying that now AI is overtaken Google, and people are not really going to search on the traditional SEO way, but that's not really something that we've noticed, and that's a big claim, I would say, to say in 2026 at least. So doing the traditional SEO, having your website in a very structured way, like having the pillars, the digital pillars of your business are pretty important these days. Although we see lots of AI improvements, like we see even some automations and some workflows and we see couple of people online that are saying that they're experimenting on things that do not even involve human beings these days. Google is still up there. It's still doing its job. And we go into our analytics every day and make sure that that's actually happening and it's actually trustworthy and getting you the leads. So yeah, we're not just coming up with words here, but it's actual statistics.
Yeah, so there's an interesting battle that's happening right now, like not just on the search, but with AI in general, right?
Right.
So there's three or four big players that are putting billions of dollars in this technology, and everybody's kind of waiting to see how it'll play out. The good news for our clients and for you on the call is that Google may actually not be as dominant as they once were.
Mhm.
They're actually going to have some competition now, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because some of you do the paid Google advertising, and we all know how expensive that is. But it works. Like it's a good system. But with competition like this, the cost of AI and the cost of advertising may potentially go down because even ChatGPT now is talking about an advertising model, correct? So it's kind of interesting to follow along. So Google is still a main focus of us right now, but we're very much aware that this could change in the next 6 months or to a year.
Yeah. How urgent is this change? I would say that it is very important to be self-weary about this, that the internet is not static, it does not stay how it is. Lots of things happening. And the biggest proof of that, Peter, is the little change that we saw like the couple of last weeks on the SEO rankings and stuff like that. So Google is not stable. We should expect to adapt with whatever is happening. And AI also seems to be following the SEO wave here. So it's very important to stay informed, follow the lead when it is important, and also more importantly, I would say it is even more important to watch what your competitors are doing. If you see that they are taking the lead on stuff digitally, then that is probably or most likely your sign to do a similar approach and build a better website, for example. Invest in Google Ads. If Google Ads is not getting you the leads, then that is probably something that's a conversation that you'll have with Peter or somebody in the team here. And probably some AI optimization is your next move. So I would say stay informed is the best bet here.
Yeah, like in the end, I guess all the information that goes into the AI bots is derived from the websites, right? So that keep that in mind. If you have a good website that has relevant information for your clients, it ranks well organically right now in Google. But we have found those factors will are a big factor in actually ranking well with AI as well. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because AI is trained by mainly website and information online. So if you're already doing a good job on SEO and you're showing up, then we feel you're in a good position. And like Haytham said, this could be a huge opportunity for the people that jump on this relatively quickly.
Mhm.
I feel ever since the internet came about, we've been trying to catch up with search engine optimization, right? They've always, it's always evolving. But and everybody's of course doing it, but now with AI optimization, we feel this is something new. There's a ton of businesses that have not looked into this yet. So I think for you as a business owner, this is an opportunity. And yeah, we're kind of at the ground floor now, trying to figure out how this all works. But I would highly recommend, looking into this and see how you can capitalize on this.
Yeah, the very first action would be to keep up your SEO. If you stop SEO, then you're just going to be buried down into pages two, three, and that's nobody looks there. Let's be honest. When somebody looks for a keyword on Google, they just want to see the first page because they don't have the time. Um, so yeah, keep up your SEO, keep up your creative and human content on your websites, because obviously Google is also aware that ChatGPT can create content for you fairly quickly, like in 5 minutes or so. And if everybody does that, then everybody's going to be relevant. And yeah, we don't want that. So we want a human touch to every content that we create and to keep up our SEO. That way, if AIO is an investment that we are considering to down the road, then at least we have a solid base of SEO that we can build upon. And second action is your Google business profile. Lots of people who are looking for businesses or a specific solution online, they go to their phones. They don't go to their laptops, they don't go to their tablets. They're most likely going to go to their phone and try to find a service online that quick. And the good news is your Google business profile is the first thing that will appear at the top of their phone, and not a Google search. So if you optimize your Google business profile very well, and that also interconnects somehow with your SEO work, because obviously your website needs to be relevant for the Google business profile to show up in the top three, then you are definitely one of the three choices that your potential customers are going to see on their phones when they try to look you up or look up what you're offering as a business.
Yeah. So, and the Google Business Profile is a free tool, as you say, Ethan. So, like, what do you have to do to claim that if you don't have access to it yet?
There's lots of things that you can do if you don't have access to it. As we mentioned, it's free, so we don't pay for anything at all. it might be a little bit tricky from time to time to set up a Google business profile because you obviously need to have a physical address. So it's kind of tricky for businesses that do not have a physical address. But you basically just need to be as accurate as possible. You set up your category as a business. You put your name, your legal name there, and then the areas of service that you want to put on your profile. That way, Google indexes you to those specific areas and suggests you to users who are situated in those areas. But yeah, that's pretty much how Google Business Profile basically works.
Cool.
Yeah, and just a tip, if you are active on social media, you can also post those same posts onto your Google Business profile just to keep that account active. And then also it kind of adds that same information on that platform as well.
Mhm. Yeah. And one thing, if I might add, the Google Business Profile also has a very important feature, and that is your phone number. Customers who land on your Google Business Profile see your website as a button and then see your phone number as a button, so they can just click on it and directly um, get hold of you. And then obviously the third action here is to structure your website for AI. We've experimented quite a lot in the past few months because we've noticed that AI is evolving quite a bit here at Edge. So we've created websites, we've run experiments on how to tackle this best. AI basically loves structure, like treat it as a 3-year-old, for example, or a 5-year-old. Explain things as easy as possible, make the sections as optimized, as simple as possible for it to read through. And those things just work best with AI. And we've also found that if you work with an AI, or sorry, a page summary that sits at the top, that's exactly where AI goes to read everything that your website is all about. So make it human again, make it concise and with a touch of keywords that your business is about, basically. So AI loves that. And without forgetting that this whole thing needs to be mobile friendly, because if it's not mobile friendly, then obviously people who are going to look you up through their mobile are not going to see you correctly. Like your website is probably not going to be in the best shape.
So, Katie, do you have anything else to add to this? Because you work a lot on structuring content and rewriting in a lot of cases, a lot of websites that we support.
Yeah, definitely. I think either vice versa, AI has kind of influenced the way we consume content, or AI has kind of picked up how we're starting to consume content in other ways. But people don't want big blocks of content, like paragraph after paragraph after paragraph. So having those kind of information kind of broken up into bite-sized pieces, whether it's smaller paragraphs, or again, as Haitham mentioned, bullet points, that's definitely beneficial for optimizing your website for AI optimization. I guess even the bots get lazy and they just want quick and easy answers too. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. So yeah, like we're basically giving the AI the information that they're looking for on a platter, right? That's all. That's ultimately what we try to do to make it as easy as possible. And again, I don't know if it's laziness or efficiency. They'll just take the information that is most relevant, right? So that's an opportunity that we see that works really well. So
Yeah.
that's one thing. Another thing that you can do to look at your website, even without completely revamping your website or the content on it, actually by reorganizing it actually has a huge effect on how you show up. So we've had some good success with some clients that we worked for. And the last one, authentic content. I think that's probably, Katie, you can probably best speak to this one. I mean, I think there's a lot of talk about personal branding, right? Like if with all the technology around us, I'm not sure how the viewers relate to this, but I think the personal touch is going to be more important, not less important, because at the end of the day, people still buy from people they know, like, and trust. So tell us a little bit about how that plays in with AI and how AI puts emphasis actually on authorities, like people that are experts in the field, rather than just corporations.
yeah, definitely. So I know everyone nowadays is kind of getting a little bit of an AI fatigue. All content kind of seems the same. So people are looking for more authentic human created content, and search engines are picking up on that. So creating content that sounds like your brand, that comes from experiences that you've had in your business. So whether it's case studies or testimonials, that definitely helps feed into creating authentic content for your website. And then also FAQs are a big thing for AI optimization, just because questions people are typing into AI, the answers are right there for AI to grab and then throw in and reference your website.
Mhm.
And then this part, Hatham already quickly mentioned, having page summaries at the top of your website's pages. So basically, 3 or 4 bullet points, just kind of summarizing what is on the page. So we plumber in Red Deer offering drain clogging services, bathroom fixture replacements. So just kind of listing off a summary of the page again to help make AI more efficient in grabbing that information.
All right. Well, thanks, Kaden, Katie, and Hatham for enlightening us on some of these things. There's a lot that goes on with these topics, right? So hopefully we've kind of gave you a very brief taste of what that looks like, and hopefully some practical, actionable items that you can implement yourself on your website or work with your web developer. So yeah, like at this point, we have this is your opportunity to ask some specific questions to your situation. So again, we'd love to keep these things as practical as possible. So if you are able to or willing, you can just open the microphone and ask your question, and we'll try to have a discussion about it, or you can put it in the chat bot as well. So um, yeah, while you're thinking about that, did we get any questions in with the registration, Katie?
Yeah, so one of the questions was, how do I ensure that my website will show up in AI search results?
Yeah, and I think we hopefully we've covered that for the
Mhm.
most part. You know, good SEO, authoritative content, clear structure, backlinks we haven't really talked about. That's another, again, still it always mattered with showing up well in Google, but it also is a factor we believe in showing up on AI. So that's basically websites that link to your website as being a vote of confidence, right? It makes sense, a trust building exercise. Because yeah, let's face it, like AI is really smart, can do a lot of things, but it's just it's only as good as the information is being fed. So again, the just having that information about your business available is huge, we believe. Any other what other questions do you have?
Yeah, so how do the AI bots actually go about deciding if your website should show up in the results?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I think I can speak to that in a little bit
sure.
technical way. So once a user puts a prompt into ChatGPT, for example, let's say they're looking for um, a web designer in Red Deer. Like they go into ChatGPT and ask it this exact question. So ChatGPT takes that exact prompt and breaks it down into keywords. So when it breaks it down into keywords, it takes the most relevant ones that ChatGPT can use through Google, and then based on the appearances, like the top 3 businesses that show up, it includes the good reviews. It includes also the authority, which is what Peter was talking about, the backlinks. Those backlinks give you authority on Google. And then it also includes how recently you update your website. So 3 things. And then after ChatGPT gives that keyword to Google, Google communicates back to ChatGPT and says, "Here are my best results." And then that's what you get as a user.
Yeah, no, for sure, right? So there's there's a lot going on. So now also and a lot of people don't realize this, but just like Google is using the search data that we type into Google, the AI companies also use everything that we work with them or like ask the AI bot, and they actually help use that to train the bot as well. So again, if your brand is being requested or searched for or found, that will actually be reinforce your position there as well. So it's kind of yeah, like it's very similar to how Google operates. It's just at a different level. Ethan, you've explained everything so well. There's absolutely no questions left.
Oh, there we go. Or it's either this or that, either too good or too bad.
I
No,
have
Hopefully too good though.
I have two or three questions if nobody else is
yeah,
uh, good.
let's take one at a time.
Okay. Um, so for your clients' websites, have you folks automatically um run it by to see if AI is up to speed on the website, or do we need to make an appointment to come in and see you to kind of visit that and have that assessment done?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So like the for our clients that are on a monthly retainer, we do SEO work for. We definitely, this is now becoming a big part of what Hatham and his team are doing. But yeah, like I know we have a package with you on the paid ad, so we it's fair to say that we do pay attention to like all our clients that are with us for an ongoing basis. We pay attention to it. Now, if we see an opportunity or something needs to be built out, then of course we may need to have a conversation about setting up a specific campaign or updating the content on the website. But as a general rule, our your success is our success ultimately, right? So we're very much aware of if you stop ranking on Google or on AI, we're gonna have a you are gonna have a conversation with us about that, right? So, but there's different levels, and it's just like anything else. You can easily spend 20 hours a month on this stuff, or you just pace yourself and just take it one step at a time, right? There's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so many dollars that go around. So, does that make sense?
Yes, yes. And so I'll go to question two, but it might have been answered in question one. Question two is, have you folks or are you folks running your client websites through AI to get their impression on if they were to add or reduce something on the website to make it more market worthy?
Hmm.
Is that something we need to do with you folks as well? Like, I know you do a great job as human beings, but I'm wondering if AI took a look at it, would they say, well, we wouldn't do this, we'd take that off, we'd add this and put this over here?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, good question. So yeah, like AI is used in our daily workflow. That's just that's pretty obvious, right? Like we use it as a tool, just like we use any other software tool. So it is used to analyze, to do research, but it's not like on autopilot that, we just ask AI to automatically update your website or anything like that. Um, as part of our workflow for any content now, it's fair to say, Katie, that we besides the SEO angle, make sure that this content, first of all, is written for human beings. That's really important. Secondly, it should rank for the right key phrases that people may type into Google. But now the third dimension is actually how does AI interpret that information that's on our website. So again, we're strong believers in AI as a technology, but we do see it as a tool in our toolbox, not to replace any human intervention. So, and again, there's a lot of confusion around that whole AI topic, right? And some people say, well, some people say we're going to be obsolete in 6 months, Neil. I don't know. I hope not, but I honestly don't think so. Like it's just changing, right? And I think our client, the people that we serve, they need help with this. They're busy running their businesses, so I'm optimistic that we can actually probably do more for them in less time. and create even greater value. That's really our goal. So it's not to us, it's not about just shortcuts or relying too much on AI, but use it to our advantage. And then I think that's inevitable, right?
Well, I can't see you being obsolete in 6 months, not from my perspective anyway. So
Thank you.
question number three is there's lots of AI bots out there like Gemini and Grok and ChatGPT, et cetera, et cetera. I've kind of signed up with ChatGPT on my phone. I've downloaded the app and
Okay.
I use the free version. And I'm usually able to ask it a few questions, and then it'll tell me that I've used up my time. I've got to back off for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Are there advantages to buying the paid version? Could it be a real asset if I would just spend a few more dollars a month, get the paid version? Could it do a lot more for me?
Yeah, like the short answer is yes. There's several advantages of the paid version. First of all, the main thing that I would worry about is the security,
Hmm.
right? Like the free version means that all the information you put in there actually becomes public domain, like almost like social media, right? Um, Whereas if the paid version is still some of your data is used to train the bot, that's just part of the AI technology, but it's way more measured and secure. So a lot of corporations, large corporations, are really worried about this, right? Like having client information end up in the wrong places. So security is really one of the main reasons why people would pay for the tool. But then the second reason would be is yeah, you just get more resources, and I believe that overall you get the most out of the tool. And subscriptions are relatively inexpensive, right? Like $25 a month. So yeah, there's different ways of going about it, but I think it's definitely, if you're using it enough and you feel it's valuable, then it's definitely something to consider, I think. And again, let's face it, these companies need to make money. Right now, their stocks go through the roof, right? I'm not sure if you own any AI stocks, but the S&P and the New York Stock Exchange are full of AI companies, which is a little scary. But if you look at the profit that these companies are making, it's actually not that great right now. Because yeah, it's a bit of a, I see it as a bit of a race to the bottom. Way back in the day when Search first came out, Microsoft actually was way ahead of everybody else, and they had a product that they were going to charge money for, and then Google came and made it free. And we all know what happens after that, right? So I could see with AI that may be the same business model, a free AI at some point that is supported by ads, unfortunately. But yeah, there's definitely some benefits to paying your subscription. The only thing with that, of course, is now you have to log in on one platform, right? You ChatGPT, Claude is one that we use extensively. There's Perplexity, there is Grok, there is um, yeah,
Claude.
Gemini. Yeah, Gemini, and they're all good. They're all getting better and better. And right now, it depends really what you're doing as well, Neil. Like if you're writing content, Claude is probably your best friend right now. But this could change over time. Like it's very dynamic.
The last question I got is I think when I was looking at paid versions for Chat GPT, now I could be wrong, but I think I took a look at it and it looked like there were so many different versions out there, like version one, two, three, four,
Yeah,
five.
yeah.
I didn't know where to throw the dollars at. Like,
Oh yeah,
is
yeah.
there
They
only
have
one paid version for Chat GPT they can get?
no. There's several, but I would go with the $25 a month one. That's probably more
Okay.
than you ever need. Yeah, there's a $200 a month, but that's just
Okay.
yeah. You don't need that. So
Okay. Thanks.
that was four questions, by the way, Neil. But that's
Yes,
okay.
it was. I was never good in math. Sorry. Or count.
No, it's all good. Any other questions?
I just have a question in the chat. Now, if they are optimizing for AI, will their business be chosen by the AI bot on the free platform as well as the paid version as well?
Yeah, as far as we are aware, there's actually no, you will because like I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm guessing most software as a service businesses, there's a 10% or so of paid subscriptions, so 90%. I don't have this information, I can find out, but let's say 80 or 90% of the people are using the free version. So they're not going to just make that exclusive for the people that pay for the subscription. So yeah, it's pretty democratic that way. And I also see that because of the competition that we now have, that we didn't have before, honestly, like a year ago, a couple of years ago, Google was at 95% of the search, so they could basically do whatever they want and charge whatever they wanted. So, but overall, the AI companies they're in it for the long run. They're trying to figure out who's going to be the top dog, and with that, they're actually giving you a tremendous value because it costs a lot of money actually to develop these models, and it also costs a tremendous amount of money and computing power, and that's why you see the even in Central Alberta to talk about data centers, which is going to be like a potential bottleneck for these companies because anytime you put something in Google, it would take, computing power to give you the answer. I think, Heta, maybe you know this, but AI kind of it's a factor of 10, right? Like more resources that it needs to search this huge database, something like that.
Oh,
It's way more intensive than Google search. So a good question. Hopefully that answers it.
I'm just looking for the paid version on my phone. I can't find it. I just see ChatGPT. Is there a special place I have to look?
We'll get back to you. Not. We'll send you a link after the meeting. Is that okay?
Okay. Yep, you bet.
Because yeah, it is definitely confusing. Now, while you're thinking about your next question, there's one interesting option that you could consider as a business, and we actually are implementing it right now. There is, besides the actual chatbots, there's also other providers now that give you access to all the different models, right? So you're not locked into just one. And we like that because there is, like I said, Claude is really good at content writing. Gemini is really good at deep research. ChatGPT is really good at image generation, for example. So there's all these different use cases. But now for you to get subscriptions or even get familiar with all these platforms is actually, it's going to be challenging. So what we're using, it's an aggregator tool that gives us access to all the models, all the big models, and then we can pick and choose which we use for a particular task. So this may be something that we may offer at some point to our clients as well to use. Again, we want to give you the power to do all these things, but yeah, to lock yourself into one provider is fine. I mean, if you go with ChatGPT, it's an excellent platform. It can do a lot of things. But yeah, in some cases, we feel like we want to actually use more than one model in some cases. That makes sense.
But there would
John?
be a monthly fee, right, Peter, for each model, or is it an aggregated model where you pay one fee
Yeah,
for all
yeah,
of
you
it?
pay. Yeah, you pay one fee, and then it works with tokens. So you just basically buy credits. They're just changing the business model a little bit, but yeah, you pay for the usage of the model, and it's very. I feel it's very affordable.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to have that link too as well.
Oh,
Yep.
sure.
Okay.
John, I see you unmuted yourself. Do you have a question?
Sort of. AIO and CEO are two different issues, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. I have Google on my phone because I'm an Android phone. Um, so if I search Google, I get both. I can go directly to AI if I want to, Gemini, but
yeah,
I get both on Google.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
I think people that are 55 and over probably use that as opposed to go directly to chat application because they don't even know it exists.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, very possible, right? Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, no, I think like the actual app, like we work in technology, so it makes sense for us to, well, learn the tools to stay ahead of everything else. But
Absolutely.
if you have a really good purpose for using AI in your daily life, right? There's a lot of different applications that you can think of. Oftentimes it could be, using the actual tool may be beneficial because you can, there's some additional features it has, right? So you can create projects, for example, where you can store certain information about a project you're doing. So There's some advantages, but yeah, definitely. Again, that's a good example, John, of this technology being available for free for the most part,
Mhm.
right? And most people, I guess 90% of people probably will not ever get a subscription because they don't need it. Like what they do with AI is more generic, and the free versions are totally fine. Yeah.
Okay. Apple works the same way though, right? I don't know that.
Yeah, Apple works the same way, although Apple is definitely behind the times a little bit. And I'm a big Apple fan, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to AI, they are lagging behind quite a bit, and they have a deal with believe it or not with Microsoft or with OpenAI for their AI technology right now. So it's again it's interesting, right? Because they're rival companies, but nevertheless they make it work.
Yeah, so what happened there? They tried to um, create their own large language model, which is the equivalent of ChatGPT, but they apparently failed. So they found no choice but to go back to OpenAI for some support and help. That's what happened.
Yeah. No, and you know what? Like it's and that's the thing. It's very dynamic. So what we're talking about right now about even some of the brand names, 6 months from now, there'll probably be something else better, bigger and better and different. But in principle, they all kind of work the same way. So it's a very exciting time if you like technology. It's a very exciting time to be alive because there's so much innovation that's happening with not only with the AI bots, but then like a lot of startup companies that find one application and build out something amazing that uses AI, but that
Mhm.
just makes it really easy to use.
Mhm.
No, they're all good questions. So again, there's a lot of different yeah angles you can look at AI and how it's being used. We take the marketing angle. Another question.
I just wanted to say that I just used ChatGPT and looked up senior living in Lacombe, and Caris Village is the first one that shows up. So kudos to you on the website you've built for us. Thanks.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for highlighting that. Yeah, and that's kind of that's exciting to hear, right? And that's we are, and again, I think because it's kind of it's something new. Not like everybody's doing SEO, right? And we've been doing this for 20 years, so it's so competitive. There's so many people vying for the same keywords. With AI now, because it's relatively new, a lot of businesses haven't caught on yet. They will eventually, of course, but we have this ramp up probably of a year or a couple of years that if we're doing certain things right now, we're going to be ahead of the curve by quite a bit. And yeah, that's an exciting opportunity. So thanks for sharing that. All right. Well, we're just gonna. There's always kind of this painful silence, right, between questions, but we're not in a big rush. But we do want to respect your time as well. So we're just gonna, yeah, we'll hang out here for a few more minutes. If something else comes up, by all means, this is an important topic. So thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to reach out to us with that as well. And yeah, thanks for attending.